All right, name that song.
Who's gonna name it?
It's coming. Here it goes.
I said a hit. You don't stop.
Rappers delight.
Hey, man,
Oh, man.
He's gonna have to
Bring it. Oh my God, I haven't heard that song in so many years. Wow, I haven't DJ'd. I feel like I'm pumped. Wow. How do you bring a show in after that? You want to, it's only 9 o'clock in the morning. Hey, good morning, everyone. Dave Wilson of Results Staffing, Richard Rosner of HireMe, and we have, ladies and gentlemen, what was that? We have a new show with Kersten Greggs called Trap Recruiter, 9 o'clock with us on Thursdays mornings, effective today. Going forward. So we're going to work it all out. We kind of gave her like
24 hours.
Notice.
You put her right in the ring, Dave. She went right into the ring, buddy.
Right in the ring. And what I like about Kersten is one hell of a background, and she's going to bring a lot of education. And that's what we're going to try to do with the show also as we bring on other special guests. Kersten will be bringing on some guests, and Mimi Magician, whatever all that is. I have no clue. You were on our show, and
we're introducing him to some new words here.
He's learning.
Magician.
Mimi Magician. Oh my God. Mimi hashtag whatever. I don't even know.
Hashtag recruiter problems.
We got it. All right. So, but what we're going to do is, she's going to bring on even guests on Thursdays. We are going to leave it up to her, and she's going to take us to another world. That's what she said. High energy. We're going to talk about subjects really that I wanted this week is start hitting subjects that we don't want to talk about in recruiting. Some people don't want to have these conversations. I think with everybody here, we can have them in a really educational way. Let's just say it that way. So today, Kersten, again, just bring it up. Tell us about yourself real quick, and then we're going to dive. He's going to say that favorite second. Dive right in.
Hi, everyone. I'm Kersten Greggs of Trap Recruiter LLC, and I have been recruiting for 20 years. Wow. And I'm just here to bridge the gap between job seekers and employers that want to attract, retain diverse talent.
That is awesome.
There you go. Sums it up.
There you go, Richard. What's the subject of today, Richard?
We are going into what? Age discrimination, right? In the workplace. And it happens every minute of the day, right?
It does.
Dave, you want to elaborate a little bit real quick of the story that you just have dealt with?
Well, in the past and in the future here, if you want to say it, I always look at like with the video resumes and even my past experiences. In today's, what's going on today, I still feel, in my heart, I feel that a client or a candidate or a corporate company still does this. They still look at the AOL, MSN. Don't put that on your resume. I've heard, don't do that. When you have so much experience, and I think everybody here can say is when you listen to that person on the telephone and you're talking with them, people really want to work right now. But I truly feel, and I'm irritated, I know you've seen it this morning about it because I see it. And I don't know, sometimes, listen, I don't know how to do it all the time, but do you confront, Kersten, would you confront the customer?
I have confronted customers regarding discrimination in the past, and I've even had to check myself. You mentioned just now that the AOL email addresses and the MSNs, the Junos, your Comcast.net email addresses. And we do look at that. But as we've been in this, pandemic for what now, 800 months or so, I've really had to look at myself and say that kind of stuff does not matter. It does not matter when people are trying to get a job. Your landline, I don't care. Can you do the job? That stuff is not necessary. It's not even shouldn't even be a factor anymore. And I've had to readjust my thinking and not counsel people. Now, I wasn't one that would throw you away if you had that, but I'm going to be 100% transparent. I was the person that'd be like, maybe you should get a Gmail account, you know, so people take you seriously. And I was putting a lot of pressure on job seekers to make up for other people's biases. That's not right. It's not their responsibility. It's hard enough trying to get a job. You know, it's hard enough trying to get a job. I shouldn't have to, you know, if I have a foreign sounding name or a foreign looking name or a name that's going to point to my heritage, I shouldn't have to change that so that you look at my resume. Like, you know what? You did me a favor because I don't want to come work for you anyway. I shouldn't have to, you know, take off, you know, all the years experience that I have. Now, I do believe in that. Some of us go overboard, you know, especially those of us that have 20 plus years experience. We don't need all of that. You know, we need the relevant experience to the job that we're seeking for our next job. You know, I'm hoping that it will trend up, but I do see a lot of some organizations that are trying to be more progressive, that are trying to do a better job taking years of experience off of their job postings. And I think that's a good idea. But you know, there's pluses and minuses to all of that. You know, we have a job force that is multi-generational right now.
Yeah, very much.
That's not a bad thing. That's not a bad thing. You know, when I went into the workforce, you know, I came in with, you know, at 21, 22-ish, you know, and because of the way that I was raised, like I would call my older coworkers, like that were like my parents' age, because they're in their 70s now. Good morning, Tim, Son.
Timmy, what's up, buddy?
I call them Miss. Like I did not feel comfortable, you know, like calling one of my contemporaries like by their first name. It did something to me. But you know, and I had a coworker who was probably about 10 years older than me. I didn't call her Miss, but she used to always like, don't do that. Stop doing that. And her mother worked with us, which was hilarious because she would call her mother by her first name. And I was like,
wow.
Dee might be listening if she figured out how to get on Facebook Live. Dee would have slapped me. And if Dee saw me talking to Miss Sandra, and saying, "Hey Sandra, hand me that file that you had yesterday," she would say, "You better put a handle on her name." You know, so you know, it's just a generational thing. And I ended up, I could call him Mr. Son. Okay. And you could call me Miss Greggs. But I would ask, because I believe in treating people the way that they want to be treated. Yes. So I would ask, you know, I would say, you know, this is how I don't want to put my, you know, my respectability onto you. You know, is it okay if I call you, if I, you know, don't, or Mr. Or whatever. And most of the time they didn't have a problem with it. You know, they were like, oh, of course, like, I don't care. But, you know, especially coming from defense contracting, you know, you got some of these older ex-officers, they want you to call them by their rank and title. Like, they want you to call them Mr. They don't like first name. No, you call them you call them Mr., Miss, last name, or ma'am, or sir. Like, they don't even want their name involved in the conversation.
Oh.
Like, last names only. So, you know, it's an adjustment. And again, the best way that I adjusted into that was to ask people, you know, the same way with me. You know, my name is Kersten. It's difficult for people to say, difficult for people to spell. And I don't want to spend, you know, a whole conversation or a whole, you know, 10, 15 minutes we could be actually doing some work of me correcting you every time. So I'm just like, you know what, call me KG. It's easier. Like, just
say it like that.
KG, there you go. I know.
KG, we have your name. Rich, how would you address, and you're very passionate, Rich, we know that, but how would you address that if you feel you're with startups and companies owning your own company like that versus the corporate world? Would you address it any differently?
No. just a little couple of points here. Everybody in the light industrial, when I was branch manager, called me Mr. Rich. Mr. Richard. Right. I said, I'm not Mr. I'm a person just like you. We are both together. I said, drop the Mr. because I'm not. Sometimes when they say Mr., they think you're the supervisor. No, that's not what it's about. Call me the Shark, Richard, or Rich. And we broke the barrier that way. One quick thing I want to tad on that Kersten said about the resumes and stuff like that. I have so many candidates that come to me and they have a pre-resume that they paid for. And the whole thing was altered and it wasn't really what they wanted. I mean, they changed the email. They changed took their initial out of their name and all that stuff.
Wow.
You can't do that stuff. And that's why I think that, when we go in, we're like, well, this is the way we want it. No, it's the way they want it. And I think you guys all agree. The candidate needs to have input on this. And I think too many times in the staffing industry, the recruiter and other people, we give advice and we say, you need to change this. Maybe they don't need to change this, You're taking them out of their comfort zone.
But how would you confront the client? If you felt a couple of your employees or candidates that you sent, how would you confront that in a professional way? What would you do? Because we have the option of saying, listen, I just don't want to staff for you anymore. There's a difference in the corporate world. Do you agree? Yes. I mean, you can't.
There is. Now, I had that situation happen to me. I spent 3 months here during the pandemic, even, like that was the height of it. I'm thick in there and I've got these folks that, I'm building relationships with, like we're communicating, I've told them everything that I believed, like that this organization was actually going to hire one of them, and they slow rolled me. And I knew at that point, like I would literally like call my friends and like listen, like, what do I do? And I had let it go too far. I had let it go out too far, like 20 candidates too far. Who that?
No.
Are you serious? No. Like, so at that point now I'm, doing the Miranda Priestley and I'm trying to make up for my mistakes and go back, go all Devil's Wears Prada. And, I had the conversation and I tried to be as, diplomatic as possible, but absolutely. I really wanted to tell those people F you, but the only thing that made me not tell them F you is because of my relationship to the candidates, because I was like, these folks really believe in it. Like I'm the one that got them to believe in this job. And how do I go? So when it fell apart, they're like, well, because, and I had already connected them to the person inside the organization that was supposed to be setting up the interviews for them to, eventually, hopefully get hired. Right. And they decide, oh, well, we hire someone else. Okay, fine, whatever. And they're like, well, since you've already introduced me, they were like, well, and this is the thing. Well, this passive aggressive BS. Do you want me to say something? Do you want me to follow up with them or do you? I was like, I'm going to do it because I'm the one that has the relationship. Yep. I sent an email and told them you would be reaching out and, you were copied on it and you sent them back. Yes, I'm going to be setting up an interview with you. Be on the lookout. You got me looking like a whole asshole, like you do.
Yeah. Exactly. And you know what, Kersten, real quick, I've had this happen to me too. Here's what I do on my end. Okay, you don't want the candidates? You know what? I'm taking their shows somewhere else. And you know what? When I say, they're going to other jobs. Oh, are they interviewing other places too? I'm their agent. I'm pushing them every team, whoever hires them. And you know what they say? Oh, we're interested now because it's that, well, we don't want our competitor to have this person. See, it's that jealousy thing. And I use that a lot. And you know what? 9 out of 10 times they're like, well, let me look at this candidate again. I said, you got 24 hours to look at it one more time. If not, the show's on the road. And I think
that is perfect because I look at experience because when I was in manufacturing, getting out of the military, I'll tell you what, when you had people that had 20 years experience in the paper industry, you went to them. Yeah. You went to them. That machine broke down. They didn't need no computer back. I always say back in the day, but you respected them because of their knowledge.
Yes.
You might not have liked them, but that was the knowledge. So when I see people today, I just get so mad at that because it's like, I believe there is a generation gap.
Yeah.
But when you look at some of these work records that got, 15 years, they've been there for 15 years for a reason. and now with COVID and okay, so they're not doing that level. They have to come down a little bit, just a skill set to get a job again. I think sometimes people say, well, he's not going to stay. She's not going to stay.
Yeah.
Because why would an HR director want to go for an HR specialist now? Does that make sense?
It does, and I do push back on. I push back on stuff. If you're bold enough to say things like that, I'm going to be bold enough to challenge you. I'm going to be courageous enough to challenge you. Again, I was recruiting for like an IT lead, and there was a person who did have a lot of experience. And they're like, well, why does he want this job? Like it's. And to like, well, why would he want this job when he's done this? And I'm like, seriously, like you can't go by that. And I explained the job. I told some of us just want a break sometimes, like I owned a business, and for a year last year, up until March of this year, I was contracted to a company. I did their recruiting for an entire group, for an entire division. And I didn't feel any kind of way about it. I wasn't, and I hadn't been a full desk recruiter. I had been an ops manager, a staffing manager. But that was a break for me. I was like,
I know. I'm listening. I know what you're saying. I'd rather go back. I'd rather go backwards sometimes.
Yeah.
It's frustrating. And Rich, how would you confront it, Rich?
Well, the big thing is, these HR people and companies, they're making decisions for our candidates. No, ask the candidate. I mean, we're representing them, right? So we should know them in and out. We should know, hey, is this the right decision for you? So when we present this to them, there should be no second guess. Well, did he really want this job? But here's what happens. They dealt with the bad staffing firms that just threw stuff at them, and then the person canceled out at the end because they never qualified that person. Am I right? You got to qualify everybody, and you got to get to know them and say, hey, is this the job for you? But I think at the end of the day, HR, they have to listen to us. And I don't like Kersten said, there are candidates. You don't need to talk to them and say, well, we're not going to hire you right now and all this, because then there's all this tape behind. Everybody has to be on the same page. And we've seen it happen before where HR says, well, we're not going to hire you right now, but hey, call us in 6 months and then we won't have to pay a fee, right?
It is.
That's true.
It's a snake game sometimes, and you have to weed them out.
It really is. It's you not wanting to pay. It's them not wanting to pay a fee. It's not wanting to pay the fee. But you knew this before. You just wanted to see what I was going to send you. And like I said, that's when it becomes my responsibility. I have to get to the no as quickly as possible. The same way that I tell candidates, like, get to the no as quickly as possible so that you can move on to the next opportunity. Like, next opportunity. No, next opportunity.
Exactly.
Tell me.
I know HR too. You probably had this happen before too. Is if they don't respond, see, you can't send a candidate over and they never respond for a week. It's like you snooze, you lose, right? I mean, it's like I'm urgent. They call you 2 weeks later and says, "Hey, is that person available?"
No,
they're gone. And how do you confront? What do you say? Both of us. What do you say? And I feel bad. I'm sorry. I take it personally. When you have a candidate constantly saying to you, well, it's my age, I know it. And that's constantly what you hear. They're not going to hire me. What do you tell the candidate, Kate? I'm going to start saying KG.
KG.
What do you say? What do you say to that person that you've worked hard for? Now you've sent another candidate to another job, well, it's my age. They're constantly telling you it's my age. What do you tell that person? See? I know.
Yeah, I mean, your perception is your reality,
That's
and I would, the only thing I could do, if they believe that, I could do my best to, point out all of the things that are right, that are good about them, that are hireable about them, that makes them makes them a good potential employee. I can build them up and do all of that, but until they believe it,
I like that.
There's nothing I can do. So, I mean, we all know we've all looked for a job, and how it's confidence is the first thing you have to get. You have to regain, especially after a job loss.
Right.
And the longer you've been on the search without a job, you're kind of like, I don't even want to do this. So that's a tough one. You know, I would encourage them to look. I would encourage them. You know, look at all the things that you do have. Do some things that you know make you feel good. You know, that are in line with your passion. You like to crochet. You like to put puzzles together like I do. Like I'm sitting at my puzzle table right now because I got to get into some of this to get my mind right for this Thursday.
Yeah.
You know,
like,
puzzles. All right.
You like taking walks. You like going to yoga. You like going to you know, CrossFit, whatever. Like do that. You know, figure out how to apply your talent. You know, someplace, you know, it may not make money for you right now, but at least it will, you know, help you feel, you know, good about yourself. At least it will help you, you know, reset your mindset to positive. But yeah, it's difficult. It's difficult to say to someone, for someone to say to you, I'm not getting this job because I didn't get this job because I'm older. I didn't get this job because I'm a woman. I didn't get this job because I'm Black. I didn't get this job because my religion is Islam. Like there's a lot of things that we could say. And, you know, unless you have intimate and direct experience being subjected to that kind of discrimination and bias, you know, all you can do is believe it. Like that's all you can do is believe them.
Well, yeah. I think sometimes we have to have positive chats with them. I had a scenario real quick. I want to say 6 months ago, 65-year-old gentleman. They didn't want to hire him, had all the skill sets, everything. They're like, no, you know what? I went to bat. I said, here's what we'll do. And they're like, well, we're not going to get him 90 days. I said, give him 1 week, 5 days. If he works out, you know what? The first day's on me. The first day's free. You see what happens. After 5 days, guess what? He was a rock star. He's there. He's got hired permanent and everything. And then they totally switched it. So I gave him that free sample. I said, 5 days. I'll pay for the first day. If he doesn't work out after 5 days, if he works all 5 days, you pay me the full amount. They did. And it's like, it's so sometimes I think when we have age like this, we have to negotiate. And that's what I always say, being an agent, you have to negotiate and say, hey, 2 days, 3 days, put them in there. What do you have to hurt? They're on my workers' comp. They're on everything. You got nothing to lose.
Well, that's awesome. And you know what, Rich, that's something that you can share with the next person who says to you, you know, because of my age, like you got success, like you got backup. The same way we got backup. Same way we tell people, hey, this is a great company. I've gotten, you know, 10 people hired full time here. You know, they've all worked, you know, their 90 days or their 30 days, whatever their contract period is. And, you know, they transitioned and, you know, now this person's a manager and this person's this. We have to do the same thing with our marginalized communities too, and give them those success stories. Like we can't always say we all do it. You know, we're like, this company sucks because they did this. Well, let's start championing the companies that don't suck, that do the right thing.
Exactly.
All right, that's going to be my thought for today. I like that. Yeah. I should get a T-shirt like that on the front.
I'll get you on May. I'll get you.
Oh, geez.
One on the front, one on the back. If you know what, you think of it like that, and that's why I like shows like this, because it's a conversation.
Yeah.
We didn't say anything different here. I take it to heart. It bothers me sometimes. I think that's normal. You know, because you don't want to go back to that person, and they're beat right now. Right now, I feel as the people are so. You got to show empathy. It's
people are tired right now. People's worn out. I hate to say it. Mentally, physically, you're worn out of what happened in the last 7 months.
Yeah. And we all are, because you're trying to place. You see the struggles. You really want to help, and that's why I try. But sometimes it just.
Dave, that's why you take a break sometimes. Little break, look in the mirror.
A little breathe and see. I mean,
I can do this. Or you just call me, right? You just call me and vent, right?
Do you play pool? Do you play pool?
No, I don't even know. Well, back in when I used to. Well, I'm not even gonna say here. No, I don't play pool.
Hill gang, right, Dave?
Back in the day, yeah, you know. And I just.
Do you do something where you can like hit something constructively?
Wow, are we talking violence?
Everybody.
It's constructive anger management.
Yeah, but you know, everybody says I don't listen. I do. I swear, it goes in, but sometimes it takes a couple minutes to go and come back out. You know, but I do listen. But I'm sorry, I just feel that you got to be honest anymore. You know, honest. Oh, here we go. Let's see. Mike, go ahead.
I think it's not all you can do is believe in them. Your own mind and your own personal options that give you more than enough power to either help them understand. Empathy has a place that can leave you defeated. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's not all you can do, believe them, your own mind.
I'm again, maybe I'm a, I don't even know the word for it, but maybe like I just think that if you plant a seed, somebody will come back to it when they are looking for something to hold on to.
It's like planting a flower, right? You're growing. It's growing. We can't think negative, positive the whole time. And when we talk about companies, we lose it. Goodbye. You never lost it. You're going to gain a new one, and you're going to have a new perspective on life, right? I mean, that's what we got to do.
No,
you can't hold on to old companies and say we're going to keep it because we had a contract. You just rip it up and move on, right? I mean, it's simple. If it's not going to work.
Good morning.
So, but no, I really, like I told everybody, we're going to wrap it up as, KG. That's a lot easier. Or
KG and the shark. I love it.
Mimi.
KG and the Sunshine Band, Dave.
What is
KG? Hashtag Mimi.
Hashtag Mimi, right?
You know what's funny is that literally I have so many nicknames that I answer to different things depending on who it is. Like I always know who people are talking to, even though the rest of the world doesn't, because a lot of people call me something different, or they call me a derivative of another nickname. Like my family calls me Kiki, like that's the name I was brought up with. But then I have that, like call me Key. I have some that have lengthened and elongated. People call me KG. People call me Jeezy, KGZ. Like it's a lot of names. I used to have a VP that called me Princess. I think he was just being condescending, but I am.
Hey, KG, I'm serious. On LinkedIn, I just saw a couple people that had 50,000 followers, 100.
Wow.
They will pump you up on names for yourself and make you $50,000 a year. No, they're like, hey, you can make $50,000 a week. We give you names. It's a joke.
Yeah, really, right?
When you watch YouTube or you sign on LinkedIn, are you tired of being called not a proper name? We can enlighten you. We can call you these names. It will improve your ROI.
Here we go again, Dave. What's the whole thing? They're trying to change you, right? And make you somebody you're not, right?
No. But it is. So I want to thank everybody. And like I said, KG, Mimi, whatever, you got to come up with that name. Thursdays at 9 a.m. with us. KG will be bringing up the subject on Thursday. So that way it gives us a break to where I can sit back and do my management back here. I can do my yoga and all that.
Hey.
I know, it's okay.
Hey, Dave, let's finish up with that song, buddy. Can you throw that song back on at the end here?
Oh, jeez.
A little vibe for the end.
For a vibe for the end. This is a good song. So, KG, we'll see you back on Thursday, and then we're going to figure out a lot of different things about
like a
stream live, nickname, all that. So
that'll be fun for. We got a week to regroup on that, but hey,
it is. So live with KG.
KG, part of the family on Thursday.
All right, there she is. We are going to end it on this note. We will see you tomorrow at 9, but we'll see you on Thursdays. Here we go. We are